Found out my M31 girlfriend, F35, completely lied about her sexual past. Have read similar threads but can't control my feelings. A little backstory. I grew up in the countryside of rural Ireland, and attended a Catholic all-boys school from the ages of 13 to 18. As a result, I had very little contact with women around my age during my teenage years, to the extent that when I entered college I had no idea how to flirt and was extremely intimidated by women. My introversion and being in a male-dominated degree, computer science, resulted in me graduating college a virgin. During this time I managed to become a little more socially confident and had a few female friends, but when it came to romance I was clueless. I would take women on traditional dates but would always be turned down. I came from a traditional rural family and had no idea how to navigate the college hookup culture. After college my weak social skills resulted in me dedicating myself to my career, and as a result I run a small software company that I founded myself along with a college friend. My success dramatically increased my self-esteem and confidence, so I started going to the gym, socializing more, and as a result I finally ended up having a few relationships. 3 years ago I met a woman, let's call her Zoe. I don't believe in love at first sight, but the instant we met I connected with her faster and more intensely than I had with anyone else in my life. She was gorgeous, attentive, funny and shared many interests with me. Prior to this I had sex with 3 women, all of which were serious relationships. To me sex is an extremely intimate act, so I had no casual sex. I consider myself adventurous, and enjoy light BDSM, cosplay/sexual role-playing even ravishment fantasies, but I will only do so with a woman I had an emotional connection with. The idea of having sex with a complete and utter stranger repulses me. I don't condemn those who do, it's their body and they are free to do what they want with it, but I want no part of it myself and want my so to have a similar view towards sex. I was clear with Zoe on my views towards sex, and she agreed with me wholeheartedly and said she felt the same way. I didn't ask her what her number was, but as I was such a late bloomer I assumed it was probably higher than mine. About a year into the relationship she told me she had slept with 8 people. I never asked her, she volunteered this herself. I wasn't intimidated by the fact that she slept with more people than me. After all, the fact that I took so long to find my feet in the dating circuit is my fault and it would be childish and immature to blame it on her. Time passed and I only grew to care about Zoe more, to the extent that until recently I was considering proposing to her. A couple of weeks ago I was at a party with Zoe at her friend Kim's place. Kim is the complete opposite of Zoe when it comes to relationships, being highly promiscuous and having no problem with sleeping with married/taken men. I found it odd that Zoe would be so close to someone with a completely different outlook on relationships than her, but didn't make a fuss of it as she was usually very pleasant when she was sober. It was only when Kim was drunk that she would act slutty. I don't mean to offend anyone, I just can't think of a better word to describe her behavior, and seek male attention to stroke her ego. Everyone is very drunk, and it's about 4 a.m. so Zoe passes out on the couch. We start playing 10 questions and Kim is asked about her wildest sexual experiences. She rattles off a load of them: gangbangs, hookups in club bathrooms with strangers, an orgy with college athletes with Zoe. I thought I misheard her and asked her about it, assuming it was a drunk slip-up. Then I felt my whole world collapse, as if I had punched in the stomach. Turns out Zoe and Kim weren't so different after all, and in the past they both were groupies for college athletes and competed with each other to have sex with team members. She also tells me about how Zoe used to regularly take part in threesomes with Kim and one of her ex-boyfriends. I can't believe my ears, and desperately force myself to deny what she is saying, so I write it off as her making crap up in order to get attention. In the morning, I can't get what Kim said out of my mind. Zoe notices how distant I am, so I blurt out what I heard and demand to know the truth. Instead of denying it as I hoped, Zoe is furious with Kim, and every time I try to get the truth out of her she redirects the conversation towards what a Kim is. I put my foot down and demand to know the truth, and she screams at me about how I should trust her after being with her for so long, eventually bursting into tears and sobbing on the couch. At this point I feel like absolute crap, hating myself for putting her through this and wishing this was all just a dream. I comforted her on the couch, and gently told her that I cared about her and didn't want to upset her, but I wasn't willing to be with someone who wouldn't be honest with me. If she didn't tell me the truth, I would walk out of the relationship. I also told her I would call Kim and ask her again about their past, breaking up with Zoe if I found out she was lying. Zoe cried again for a while, and I honestly felt like a complete scumbag, especially when she asked me how I could throw away something so special that we had built together. When she told me the truth, I felt physically sick. Everything Kim said was completely true. Zoe said she had low self-esteem, so she would often hook up with popular men to feel good about herself. I asked her how many men she slept with and she winced and said it was probably about 60 or 70. I told her to get out, and she begged me not to leave her, until I physically dragged her out of our apartment and threw her out. She's staying with her sister for now. I spent a few days fuming and ignoring her calls. Eventually I picked up and once again she begged me to take her back, claiming she is a completely different person now. I told her I still care about her, but I'm incredibly hurt about her deceit and need some time to think about the relationship. I have absolutely no idea what to do. On one hand, she's a fantastic girl and I love being with her, but at the same time I don't think I can ever look at her the same way again. Every time I close my eyes I'm bombarded with images of her being passed around like a piece of meat and it's driving me absolutely effing insane. Even if she's still the same person she was during the last 3 years, my perception of her will never be the same. During the phone call she told me that the reason she lied to me about her past was because I wouldn't have dated her if I had known the truth. That's absolutely true, but that doesn't justify her actions in any way, as I feel that no one else has any right to dictate to me what my sexual standards should be. Another thing I'm worried about is the fact that in the past she had sex with men for validation and to feel good about herself. How can I trust that she won't do the same in the future whenever we get into an argument or whenever she feels like she's in a slump? She might even have had sex with another man after I threw her out in order to feel better. I feel like if people do have casual sex, they should do so for the right reasons, and having casual sex because you have low self-esteem seems like a very unhealthy reason to do so. I've scoured similar threads on Reddit but none of them have done any good. A lot of people seem to write off my disdain for casual sex as insecurity about whether other men my girlfriend has slept with have bigger members / better sexual skills. I disagree with this as I'm quite confident in the bedroom. Another common thought is that I should be happy that she chose to be with me after all these other men. This doesn't make sense to me as I know she wants to be with me. The question is, do I want to be with her? That's what's tearing me apart. Another problem is that all these other men weren't trying to get married to my girlfriend, they had sex with her and moved on, so I don't feel like that argument is relevant. Finally, I've watched both Clerks and Chasing Amy, and it didn't do any good. The whole Chasing Amy speech has him reminiscing about what could have been, about whether him breaking up with Amy for a trivial reason resulted in him throwing away a great future with her. First of all, sex is not at all trivial to me. I consider it the most powerful expression of love and an extremely intimate act. Second of all, Zoe is an absolutely amazing woman, but there are plenty of amazing women out there. I don't want to get married with Zoe and have this eat at me for the rest of my life. It's possible that there's dozens of women just as amazing as Zoe out there, but without the past issues. Please help. This is driving me absolutely crazy. I'm considering talking to a professional relationship counselor, but I'm at the end of my rope, so any advice at all would be appreciated. TLDR, I have no interest in casual sex, and want my partner to be the same. Girlfriend tells me she had sex with 8 people, actual number is about 60 or 70 and includes gangbangs / orgies. Thanks for watching and please subscribe if you enjoy our content.